Hello and welcome to another modern video, and today we're going to be trying a deck that I've been pretty high on for a minute, which is GRIXIS Control, GRIXIS Hidetsugu Control. We're obviously taking advantage of Hidetsugu Consumes All, one of the sleeper cards from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. I think this card is still very well suited to attack the modern metagame, but there's no good shell for it really. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to use the card in a GRIXIS Control style deck, so we're basically base blue and we're splashing a little bit of black and a little bit of red. The red, of course, is Ragamans, Lightning Bolts, Furies, and one of the most busted cards in Modern, which is Expressive Iteration. And the black is really for Fatal Push, Dreadbore, Terminate, like a little bit of a split there, and Hidetsugu itself. So this is what we're trying to do. Besides that, the rest of the deck is just a control shell. So we have Dress Downs, Counterspell, Archmage's Charm, and Jace the Mind Sculptor. Now, I'm going to be trying out a new card, actually two new cards from the newest set from New Capenna. And those are going to be Sanders Lounge. This is the Triumph, really. Like everybody's calling them Triumphs, and because they're just a Triumph. And this deck had a little bit of an awkward mana situation, really, because sometimes you wanted to have a red early for Monkey, but you wanted to also have a little bit of black in like for turns 2 and 3, and maybe you drew only one fetch land, and then maybe a couple of islands, and then all of a sudden your Hidetsugu Consumes All is really hard to cast. So sometimes you would find yourself in very awkward spots, and this really fixes everything. Like it just straight up, you just fetch, you have perfect mana for the remainder of the game, which is obviously very good for a deck like this, for a control deck. So I'm really excited to try this out. And then the other card that I'm interested in trying out is Tainted Indulgence. There's like a little bit of a tension in this deck between how busted Expressive Iteration really is, but you are a deck that wants to be holding up Counterspell. You want to be holding up Archmage's Charm. So it turns into a situation where Expressive Iteration is even a little bit more like a 4-drop, really, because you want to play it on turn 4 so that you can find your land, hit your land drop, and hold up Counterspell. So because of that, it can be a little bit awkward. So what we're trying to do is we're trying Tainted Indulgence. So what this does is on turn 2, you pass, you pass the turn. If your opponent plays something, you just Counterspell. If they don't play something, you just Tainted Indulgence. And one thing that's interesting, obviously, there's like a little bit of a dyssynergy between Tainted Indulgence and Hidetsugu Consumes All, since it's going to be harder to get value from it. But first of all, we have a pretty solid curve in terms of options to enable the card. And second of all, in matchups where Hidetsugu is bad, we can pitch it to the Tainted Indulgence itself in order to have a 3 in the graveyard. So because of that, I think that even though there's a little bit of tension, it's going to make things a little bit harder than normal, really. It's not like we're just going to play your cards and they're magically going to work. We're going to have to work a little bit harder to make them do their thing. But I think that there's a little bit of tension, but not necessarily they're not mutually exclusive necessarily, is what I'm trying to say. So that's one thing that I wanted to try out today. Maybe it turns out that they are indeed mutually exclusive and I can't play this card. We'll see, but that's what today is going to be about. Besides that, so we have like a very... I try to make sure that my mana base is stable-ish, because we want to have islands. I think that Magus of the Moon in the sideboard is very important in matchups like Tron or Amulet, so because of that, I think that I want to have access to a bunch of islands, and that makes my mana base stretched in a little bit of different directions. Like we have so many angles that we need to cover in the mana base. So I try to make it as consistent as possible, making sure that we can fetch for double red whenever we want. We have access to not so painful red mana in the early game, but we don't want too many Spiral of Canal style lands, because in the late game, past turn 5, we really want to find lands that are untapped, because we're going to be casting Jace to my Sculptors or trying to double spell on the same turn. So because of that, building this mana base, I still don't think this mana base is perfect, but it's been a work in progress for a while, basically since I built the deck. And I think that this is fine enough. Maybe we shouldn't have 3 steam vents now that we have the lounge, but again, like this is all gonna be trial and error kind of deal. In the sideboard, we have Mystical Disputes for the blue matchups, particularly for color, Flusterstorm against combo, Brutality and Thoughtseize against combo and aggressive strategies specifically. Magus and Ashiok, as I said, against Amulet, against Strong, stuff like that. 4th copy of Hidetsugu. When this card is good, it's really, really good. So having access to the 4th copy can basically turns Hammer into a buy, straight up. Dreadbore against Murktide. That's also the reason why we're playing Dreadbore and Terminate in the main deck. And Nile Spellbomb against Graveyard decks. So I've been fairly happy with the sideboard. There are a couple of cards that, that we can move around, like the Ashiok can be something else, the 4th Tsugu can be something else, but all in all, I think that this cyber configuration is pretty reasonable. We're going to be playing this deck through a modern league, so if you're interested in supporting the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and if you wanna, for me to play any deck of your choosing in a YouTube video or live on stream, you can find the information you need in the description of the video below, as well as if you're interested in coaching, that's also an option available. Without further ado, let's go into the matches. Alright, here we are for round number 1, and we have our strongest start, which is turn 1 land, even a painless land at that, into Monkey. So we're going to keep this hand. Would love to find some form of interaction, counterspell. I mean, we have interaction for creatures, but we don't have interaction on the stack, so would definitely love to see like a counterspell or Archmage's Charm, something like that. Pretty easy turn 1. We're just going to play our Spiral of Canal, cast our Monkey, pass the turn. Opponent moves to 4. That's either very good for us or very bad for us. Either one or the other. My opponent says, good luck, super big fan. Oh, thank you, opponent. Really appreciate it. Turn 1 basic plains is what's up. So let's serve first, then we'll see what we want to do. Opponent pitches Solitude to get rid of the Monkey. That's fine. Of note, Dress Down wouldn't have done anything there, right? So, yeah, just bold that. I don't want them to have a 3-2. Just concede. Okay. So I guess they kept like a super all-in hand. As far as opponent knows, we're playing Blurred Murktide, so... Although if my opponent is a fan of the of my content, maybe they know that I'm up to I'm up to some bullshit. Okay, so my opponent showed me Solitude and Ephemerate and a basic plains. So that kind of makes me think that we're playing against the troll deck. That's the black-white stupid deck with like grief and whatnot. It could be Reanimator or not. That's unclear. I'm not a big fan of push. Although maybe they're playing Stoneforge Mystic. I think I'm just going to submit the same. I'm not a fan of Tsugu, I guess. Like, Tsugu's the only card that I'm not a fan of. So let's cut the Tsugus. I'm bringing Dreadbore number 2. And a couple of Thoughtseizes. No, my opponent wants to put me in top deck mode, so I don't think I want Thoughtseizes. Maybe Magus is fine. I don't have enough information. I'm gonna go with this, but I could see this being wrong. We have a no lander. Yeah. No landers, no bueno. Huh, this hand is kind of interesting. I think I keep this, and I bottom the Tainted Indulgence. We have Counterspell, we have Fury to pitch. Yeah, so it looks like it is the troll deck. So let's play that tapped, say go. So now if I find a black source, I can terminate my opponent's Stoneforge Mystic. Grief. Alright. Well, there's nothing I can do here, so if they do have the Ephemerate, we're probably pretty screwed. Opponent takes the Counterspell. Let's see. Okay, so they can only take one more card. Undying Evil. Okay. I imagine they'll take the Magus, considering their current mana situation is not the best I've ever seen. So, they take Fury. Interesting. Well, here's a land, and I'll pass the turn. No need to give my opponent information. And okay, so they have a basic plains. So that means I'm not super interested in resolving this Magus. That's hot, though. That's really hot, though. So I'm going to play the Magus anyway. That's going to make my opponent's mana a little bit awkward. And then next turn we can just kill the Grief. Opponent cycles, but like still their mana is garbage here. So I'm kind of into this. And now next turn I'm going to just dash a Monkey. And if the Monkey connects, we just kill the Grief. And then they have nothing going on. Well, that doesn't work. So now we really want to dodge, because they're going to take the Monkey now. Because Monkey fixes my mana. Oh, they just have. They have Ephemerate. Touch of the Spirit Realm. Okay. Yeah, so like this deck works exactly like this. Either it works like game number 1, where you just draw a bunch of cards that are trying to work together, but they don't. Or you just get like turn 1 double Grief You into Grief You again the following turn. So I'm not surprised that things went that way there. Nihil Spellbomb is a little bit interesting. Huh. Because what Nihil Spellbomb does is it prevents Undying Evil. Maybe just Fluster is better? Because I'm not super into these pushers. Like, they're fine. They're kind of whatever. I mean, they're only really good if my opponent's playing Stoneforge. I think Magus is reasonable. Yeah, I think this is fine. Alright, game number 3. This hand is fantastic. Let's keep it. Turn 1 Steam Vents. Monkey, your go. That's the name of the game here. And my opponent can have the cheese draw with the grief and whatnot, but swing. We connect. That's good. Malaki Rebirth. I think it just Magus here, right? Because even if my opponent has Solitude, they can either kill the Magus or kill the Monkey, but not both. Because they're not going to have a land to cast their spells. So I think this is fine. I'm not super into it, but like if this Monkey connects, I think that we're probably going to win. Yeah, okay. So now we are holding up Counterspell. We exiled our basic planes. That's value. That is good value. And my opponent says nice hit. Yeah, this is just, you know, my opponent got their cheese going on, and we also do. Who's the cheese deck now, opponent? Who's the cheese deck now? What do we got? Mole of the Skyclaves. Sure, why not? I don't see why not. So I think we attach it to the Magus. So this turns it into a 2-turn clock now. 4 red mana. Okay, pass the turn. I was starting to think my opponent was trying to bait me there. Maybe they thought they had 5 mana for Batterskull or something. So now that connects. I'm not gonna cast this Stoneforge. I am gonna cast this Expressive Iteration though. Oof, that's hot. It's real hot. That's real hot. All right, GRIXIS Tsugu, 1-0. Okay, round number 2. Sound seems okay. I'm gonna keep it. We're gonna go turn 1, fetch for a Triome. Turn 2, Canal. Holding up some interaction. We also have Fury. This hand is like unbeatable against something like Hammer. Although, to be fair, our deck period is unbeatable versus Hammer, so I don't know how much of a how relevant that actually is. Opponent goes Windswept Heath, fetch. You don't see with Windswept Heath a lot these days. Basic Forest into Gracer. Okay, so we're playing against Amulet. Unless my opponent's playing like, what could this be? Could be, I mean, it could be either Scapeshift or Amulet so far. So we fetch for a Triumph, untap, and I think I want to get the Canal in play. Yeah, because I want to save the fetch. Like, we may draw another land, and I want to save the fetch for a potential Jace shuffle. If my opponent plays Dryad, I think I'm going to dress down just to cycle and to prevent them from making the extra land drop. That's an Amulet. But I'm definitely going to save the second dress down if my opponent goes for a Dryad. Opponent deep in the tank, and finally they get their Bordos Garrison in play. So they're going to play a bounce land. Let's see if they bounce itself. They don't. They bounce the Valakut. One thing to note is that the dress down only stops the extra land drop ability from Dryad. It doesn't stop the making all the lands into the Prismatic Omen ability, like making all the lands into all the types. Don't ask me why. I don't know why that's the case. I just know that that's how that works. That's kind of interesting. So I can't really iteration here, I don't think. Because then my opponent can go Azusa into Titan, and then I'm going to be in really bad shape. So, if my opponent passes again, I'm kind of into it. Definitely looking for... They do pass again. Okay, I'm going to leave the fetch in play now. And the reason for that is so I can push a Dryad. Is this the turn that I iterate? I think... I actually don't think so. I'm still hitting my land drops. I got Dress Down. I got Terminate. I think we're in an okay spot here. Also double fetch land in my opponent's deck list. Temple Garden. Okay, so they're playing the Elrami Skull version. Or not. Okay, tap some mana. So if they play... Okay, so they made their first land drop. So that means that if they do play Dryad, I'm just going to Dress Down. And I'm looking for Fatal Push here. If I find Fatal Push, I'm going to be looking real good. But now they already made their land drop, so they can't do anything else anymore. Otawara. Doesn't really do anything for me. Am I supposed to terminate here? Am I supposed to terminate? I don't think so. I think I'm just supposed to pass the turn. It's pretty solid. Expressive Iteration. That's really bad for us. That's very bad for us. Pass the turn. Oh, I think I should have actually Fury'd the Dryad there. Peaching the Lightning Bolt. Yeah, that was a mistake. Should have definitely Fury'd the Dryad. Yeah, I'm gonna take a bunch of damage here that I shouldn't be taking. That was a pretty bad mistake there. Yeah, so I'm gonna be taking 8 damage that I shouldn't be taking. Taking 8 damage that I should not be taking. Hopefully I don't get punished by that. Opponent bounces to basic. And now what? Them drawing both Valakutes naturally is kind of a beating, really. It's not great. I think I'm gonna draw 2 here on end step. I really want to... Oh, they're gonna give me something to counter. They are gonna give me something to counter. Okay. So there we go. And I don't want to use the counter as soon as I can, because it doesn't necessarily get easier after that. I'm definitely gonna go Fury, Pitch Bolt, kill the Dryad. I guess I could have Otawara my own Fury. That's kind of hot. I'm not gonna do that, but I should have Furied last turn. It's a pretty bad mistake on my part. Sounds good, opponent. All right, take 2. Pretty funny how all of these draws that are usually pretty awkward ended up like naturally drawing the Valakutes and naturally drawing the Stronghold. It's usually pretty awkward, but in this specific case, it just lined up. Also, I just cannot find a Fatal Push for my life. I cannot find a threat either. I'm starting to suspect maybe I should have just Otawara my own Fury. Like, I'm just getting beaten down by this stupid Gracer. I think my opponent's playing this pretty well. I don't know about just slamming that Primeval Titan. That's the only play that I'm not super sure about, but all their other lines have been pretty spot on, I think. It's kind of nice how playing against Amulet, you get to F6 to all of the oh wow, we're going the double Gracer route. So if I Dress Down now, I think this one loses haste and I get to take another look. So I'm gonna wait until beginning of combat and I'm gonna Dress Down, see what we find. Push. Finally. So this one can't attack. The other one gets pushed. Untap. Draw. It's not great. It's not great. So at this point, things are really rough for me. Because I'm at a point where I probably just have to kill this Gracer, because otherwise I just get beaten down by the Stronghold. And not only that, but also eventually my opponent's going to find a Cavern, and I'm putting no pressure whatsoever on them. So yeah, it's I just ended up getting super punished by not auto-wearing the Fury when I had the chance to. It was a combination of both mistakes, right? Like the first mistake is I should have killed the Fury. I would be at 8 more life right now. So these Gracers would be swinging for 2, but I would have like 5 or 6 more turns at that point. And then after that, I should have on the following turn when I had 6 mana, I should have used the Otawara. So a couple of mistakes there. All right, so opponent plays a Dryad. I think we let it resolve, and then we're just going to terminate it. So there's the land drop. Now we terminate it. Whoops. I was F6'd. So now these 2 lands are not going to do anything because of my mistake. Man, I forgot that I was sort of yielded to the Amulet triggers. Just going to slam the Titan here, huh? This is good for me. This means that I don't take damage from the Gracer this turn. It's pretty great for us. Monkey. This is so awkward. This is so awkward. Gracer's gonna beat me down next turn. Ugh. That sucks. So Gracer comes in, gets haste. I go down to 1. And we need to draw an answer to the Gracer. Ugh. Yeah, this game did not work out for us, really. It'd be pretty funny if my opponent found Sunhome here. Oh, this is actually just lethal. That's funny. Alright. So we're dead. Gracer too strong. Damn, we're not doing pretty well. Okay, so games 2 and 3, we have a lot of tools. So that's great. These are great. When I cut 1 Tsugu, when I cut the Dreadbore. Maybe 1 push, maybe 2 pushes. And a couple of Furies. All of these cards are pretty solid. I guess Bolt is worse than Push. Yeah, this is fine. This looks good to me. Hidetsugu is actually very good. Like, it would have been fantastic that game too, right? But I do think Monkey is pretty great in this matchup. All right, Sand looks good. Let's keep it. So I'm gonna go turn 1. I think at turn 1 just go tap the land. Turn 1 I'm gonna tap land, go. And I'm going to fetch for Triumph on end step. Then turn 2, I'm going to Thoughtseize. See what's going on over there. And then turn 3, because what that will do is it allows me to fetch for basics and set up for a Magus. Alright, opponent moves to 5, and let's do as planned. What? Turn 1 Gracer? Honestly unfair. Responds to your trigger. Got him. Alright, so let's Thoughtseize you. Let's see what you got going on there. Oh. Well, that's gone. Honestly, a little bit unlucky if you asked me, because now, like, that would have been a great target for my Fatal Push, and now I don't have one. All right, so opponent plays the basic, and then they packed. Interesting. Packed for Dryad. Well, that's a great target for my Fatal Push now. So their hand is Sanctuary Basic Forest. So next turn, my opponent's gonna have to pay for their pact. I think I'm just gonna get a Water Brave here. And I guess I'm not going to be setting up for Magus, which is a little bit awkward, but it's fine. So opponent's going to have 1 basic. That one. Draw 2. Okay. So we have 0, 1, and 3. So I guess we're not particularly close. So I'm just going to play the Monkey and say go. And then end step, I'm going to Tainted Indulgence if my opponent does nothing. But I don't think I can really, like, if my opponent drew on tap land and Titan as their 2 draw steps, then we're actually put in a situation where we may be in trouble. Yeah, Pog. Just gonna discard the Thoughtseize, I think. It's pretty funny. I'm gonna tap out next turn. So I'm gonna chill here. I think I can get more value from this. Hey, that's more value. Alright. Opponent just playing out their lands. It's not bad. I think I'm gonna lead on Jace first. And we kind of really have to find land here. Hey, there we go. So put that on top, put that on top. So there you go. Now I think we are in fairly good shape. They have Cavern. Do they have Titan as well? They probably do. They have only 1 unknown card from us, and that is, of course, Primeval Titan. They play the land for turns when they're not going to be able to haste, so we at least have that going on for us. And then what we can do is we can just Jace minus the Primetime Slam Magus and take it from there. So Jace is going to save us from this uncounterable Titan. Because even if their last card in hand is... Well, it can't be. It's a basic forest, so we already know that. So it doesn't matter. We're fine. Opponents seem to tank about this. I wonder why. Maybe they miscounted. They thought they could haste, but they can't. Alright. Can't be countered. Yep. So they bounce the T-West and they transmute right now. So their hand is Basic Forest and some Respect. Got it. So upkeep. Gonna fetch for an island because we don't want the cards that are on top of my deck. And monkey. It's not great, but it's better than nothing. So cast, kill this. And then... Oh, did I mess that up? I messed that up. I actually messed that up. Because now I'm not gonna... I should have saved the push. I should have saved the push there. So now my opponent can pact for a Dryad. And play the Dryad. Yeah, there's the forest. I guess that they actually can't. They naturally drew a Dryad? Yeah, that's pretty good. Yep. That's a pretty good draw, if I'm being honest. Naturally drawing the Dryad is devastating for us. Absolutely devastating. So, I guess we have to find either a basic island, dress down. Alright, dress down is good enough for me to want to brainstorm here. That's pretty good. Okay, so we can now kill the Dryad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So put that on top. Put that on top. Play my land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cast Fury. Kill the Dryad. I guess we can attack. So might as well. Opponent takes 2. Because my opponent can't really pact for Dryad because I have the Jace in play. Yeah. Alright, so game 3. Changes, not really. On the draw, maybe Monkey is a little bit worse. And Tsugu is a little bit better. Maybe Fury is just fine. Can do this. Yeah, I think this is better. Alright, submit this. Alright, one lander, probably not gonna work out. Sounds better. I think I wanna cut. I think I wanna send the Indulgence. It's between one of these two cards. I think I'm actually gonna send the Jace. No, actually I'm gonna send the Indulgence. Jace is a way that I can actually win the game. Turn 1 Cavern is very scary. Man, turn 1 Gracer every single game. I see why people say that Gracer is unbeatable. Fatal Push, not bad. So that's probably gonna be killing the Dryad. Opponent replace Cavern on human, so I guess this is gonna be Azusa, huh? Maybe Tracker? If it's Tracker, I'm just going to Fatal Push right now, get Water Grave, and... Oh, they just passed the turn? Interesting. So I guess it is Tracker, but they want to guarantee that they draw land, which makes sense. That's a Tsugu. Tsugu, Destroyer of Clues. Yep, here comes the Tracker. Makes sense. Get a bounce land. And I think I'm just gonna push Tracker here. And I'm gonna push Tracker here and then untap and play the Tsugu. So black, red. That kills the Clue and the Arboreal Gracer. And unless my opponent has a double Amulet permutation here, like this, they can't Titan me here, which is the only thing I'm really scared of. They're gonna be able to Titan me next turn, which is a problem. But at least I can terminate that. Would love to find a land. That's probably my best draw. I guess Magus is my best draw. Magus probably wins. Land is not the worst, I guess. So my opponent can't... Do I just slam Jace? So I guess my opponent can have land, bounce land into Amulet, and then Titan me. And we'll probably lose to that. But besides that, I don't think that it's getting better for this Jace, so I think this is the turn to play it. I'm gonna draw. Those are very good cards. I'm gonna draw that next turn. Okay, so we're gonna get to terminate the Titan. Hopefully they have Summoner's Pact. That's a reason not to Jace here, is if my opponent has Summoner's Pact. They just don't have a land altogether? Oh my god. This was like the best Tsugu ever. So do I just start plussing here? I kind of want to start plussing. That's a bounce land. That I think is okay. Use the ability? No, because that effectively means 2 turns, which means I get to draw 2. They also have to use their land drop in order to... It's only 5. Like, we know what they drew, right? They drew the Semi-Growth Chamber. Yeah, they can't Titan here. Wait, what? Udo? Gracer. Okay. So I guess I just counter this. It's not like I'm going to be able to counter anything, right? Grazer? Yeah, now they don't have 6 mana, so it doesn't matter. This Grazer just doesn't really do anything. I guess the other Grazer wouldn't have given them mana anyways. So maybe I just got baited. Like, it probably doesn't matter anyways. We're gonna draw 2 here with Charm, and then I think I'm just gonna start Jacing again. Name Giant anyway. Oh. So pass the turn, end step, draw 2. Some lands, not great. Not great. Dress down is fantastic though. Can I find a fetch? No fetch. Do find a push. We do find Archmage's Charm. So what are we gonna do? I think I want an iteration here. So we're gonna put land on top, and I guess the worst card in this hand is the Fatal Push. So we're gonna go push, Water Grave. Then we're gonna iteration. Put, I guess we still want, yeah, we still want this. So that, play, swing for 3. Opponent chumps with Grazer. We still get the token. This triggers when it deals damage, which is great. Like, it doesn't need to deal damage to opponent. So it just grows every time regardless. Here my opponent plays Uncounterable Titan. We're just going to dress down and then terminate it. And the good thing about casting the iteration last turn is that we get to reset the top of the deck for Jace. Still looking for Magus, looking for Ashiok. We have a multitude of fantastic draws here. Red, black, terminate you. Let's draw off Jace. It's a fetch land, that's good. So put, do we want, I think we want to send the Jace actually. I'd rather have the land, I think. Play this. This is going to be 6 damage this turn. 6 damage this turn. Opponent goes down to 14. And then we can present a 2-turn clock. Cassandra Mammoth. Alright, sounds good. So we do get to dress down again here. So we're going to dress down. Then I guess we're going to draw 2. And I guess it depends what we're going to do, because it depends on what we draw off the Archmage's Charm. Because we may just find a Magus or an Ashiok, and then that's probably going to be good enough. Because we can just minus Jace, kill the bounce the Titan when it can't recast it. So I think we're in pretty good shape. Even if we don't find the Magus nor the Ashiok, the Vessel is going to deal damage, and then we just hardcast Fury, and that clears the Titan as well. Shout out to Vessel of the All-Consuming. Like, this card is a lot more real than it seems. I was very surprised, very pleasantly surprised by how impactful the random 3/3 that grows is. Like, just Raging Ravine turns out that it's pretty good when it comes out for free. Alright, turns out that my opponent disconnected and they lost to timing out, so I still think that we had it covered. I think that we had all the angles covered anyways, but it's one of those things where, you know, it's definitely unfortunate. Like, I think it would have been a very interesting thing, right? Like, so we would have fetched, we would have drawn 2 from the Charm. Like, we still had a bunch of decisions to make. It's a little bit unfortunate that they just disconnected and ended up timing out, but interesting matchup for sure. Definitely an interesting matchup. Match number 3 on the play. This hand's not gonna do it. Ship it. This hand is much better, so we're gonna keep this one. Keep, and I think I want to... I think I'm gonna send the Fatal Push. Yeah. Because I'm gonna be forced, like, it's not clear that we can even cast the Fatal Push, because I have to, I'm 100% gonna monkey on one. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to cast the push. Super punished. Immediately punished. Super punished. Definitely gonna swing though. 100% swing in here. If my opponent wants to trade, I think I'll take the trade. Because otherwise this Sentinel is just gonna tax my mana so badly. Oh, they let it through? Okay. Really? Okay. I mean, I'll take it. Realistically, both lines are great for me. So here we just dress down, pay for Sentinel tax. Maybe this is a little bit too early, but I really want to find the Tsugu, so I think I'm down to cycling this early. Now, the only issue is that the Stoneforge blanks my monkey, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, just gonna pass the turn here. because I don't want to trade for a Stoneforge. Like trading for the Sentinel was very exciting to me, but trading for Stoneforge not so cool. You got a Paladin. Want to dress down here so my opponent can't equip and they can't draw a card. Pay for Sentinel once again. Yep, that's what's up. So now we just have to find a black source and we're Gucci. Yeah, I think I'll just pass the turn here. And because they don't have Metalcraft, and even if they activate Nexus in order to enable Metalcraft, I just bolt the Paladin in response anyway. Stoneforge. Nothing we can do about that one, so we're just gonna let it go. Caldra complete. That's a problem, except we can steal. Steal. Oh, I should have. Oh, that was a mistake. Yeah, I wanted to bolt in response. Yeah, with the ability on the stack, I had to bolt the Paladin. Whoops. So now my opponent's gonna get to draw 2 cards here, which is pretty brutal. We're not gonna pay because we're gonna steal the Caldra. I would like to steal your dude, please. And here I'm gonna attack. Because if my opponent wants to trade their Stoneforge, like my monkey is gonna die to my own Tsugu anyways. That is of course assuming that I manage to somehow draw a black source. But I'm gonna draw 2 here and then step. It's not super unlikely for me to find a black source. If they have another Paladin, I'm gonna kill it. This, I guess it's fine. So that means that my opponent's gonna get to draw a card, but then I get to clear everything up. That is also fine. That's also fine. All of these dice to the Tsugu, so just gonna draw 2. Gonna pay for one of these, but not pay for the other one. Can I find the black source, pretty please? Wait, what? What is this? They're gonna put a hammer in play? Yeah, this is fine. Again, like I need to find the black source. That's all that matters here. They have exactly 1 mana. Hey, that's a black source. So just get a swamp. I'm gonna pay for both Sentinels. They can only play 1-drops, and any 1-drop that they play gets Tsugu'd. And then this Caldra gets him. Can I 5 you, please? Maybe I should have attacked first. Probably doesn't matter. Opponent knows what they're drawing, and they know that this is a draw, so they just back it in. That felt good. Yeah, this card, something else, huh? What do we want here? Magus seems interesting. Don't love Jace. Monkey's kind of medium. But I kind of really want to have access to red cards because of Fury. This gives me a solid amount of red cards though. Counting all of these. Plus the bolts. So we have 17 red cards. That's not bad. I'm a lot more interested in Magus on the play than on the draw. I think this is fine. I think I like this. Maybe Counterspell's bad. Maybe Thoughtseize over Counterspell? Brutality? Nah. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think I like this setup. I think that holding... like, we're definitely playing tap-out control in this matchup, so... I think I'm giving this hand. We have good mana, we have turn 1 monkey, we have removal. I think this hand has... barring a Tsugu, which is obviously our best possible draw, this draw ticks all the other boxes. So fetch Steam Vents, and we're just gonna play the monkey and call it a day. Get Steam Vents in play, cast this monkey. Here we go. Flooded Strand into, let's see what they get. I assume that they're gonna probably play a Paladin or Stoneforge. Stoneforge, okay. Stoneforge gets Caldra, which means that I'm gonna have to push this Stoneforge now. On the other hand, I feel like I was just pushing this Stoneforge anyway, and I think I'm gonna be trading with this Memnite. I think, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm gonna swing first, see what my opponent does. Oh, obviously they're just gonna block, but swing there, trade for Memnite. That's fine. Swamp, push, pay for your attacks. And then next turn we can dash a monkey if we want to, which is interesting. Opponent plays Saga. We're not super scared of Saga because Tsugu covers it. Tsugu kills the token and all the other pieces of the Saga, so Dreadbore the Paladin seems like a good play here. Paying for the tax. It's kind of interesting how my opponent didn't attack in the previous game, but now they're attacking with the Sentinel. I wonder what made them change the approach. Interesting. So now we can dash a monkey. Do I want to dash a monkey? I don't think so. I think I'd rather iteration here. Pay for tax. It's bolt. So bolt to hand. Bottom exile. Play. Steam vents. Bolt here to Paladin. I'm not sure I love that play from my opponent there. It exposes them to exactly what just happened. Iteration definitely looking better than Tainted Indulgence in this specific matchup, right? Because we are turning on our deck into mono, like 1s and 2 drops. So it's probably going to be pretty hard for us to get good value from Indulgence. Springleaf Drum is the pickup. Interesting. So I guess their mana's getting taxed. Nettle Cyst. So my opponent just kept a hand that was really relying on those paladins, which is good for us. This is kind of awkward, actually. I'm probably gonna have to steal this construct, so I'm just gonna cast this monkey and pass the turn. And I guess I'm gonna have to fetch now so I don't get got by Peeling Needle, which would be pretty devastating. Okay, opponent's gonna make a token. In response, we're gonna fetch. I guess maybe I will just draw 2. Let's see. I may just draw 2 looking for Tsugu, because that gives me 2 looks. That gives me 5 looks, right, at finding a Tsugu. So maybe it's better for me to just let this happen and maybe not steal the construct and just use the monkey to chump the construct instead. Shadow Spear. Yeah, let's do that, actually. I'm into it. So chump with monkey, and now we're gonna draw 2 from Charm. We have 4 copies of Tsugu, or 2 copies of Dress Down that we're drawing towards. We also get to pay for the Sentinel tax, which is nice. Draw 2 and we find Thoughtseize and another Charm. And a Delta. Let's iteration here. And I think I'm not gonna pay the tax. Because if I do find Tsugu, I can I'm not gonna pay the tax. Because if I find Tsugu, I can Thoughtseize into Tsugu, which would be basically guaranteed that it resolves. Ding ding ding. Thoughtseize you. Let's see that Spell Pierce. No Spell Pierce. Alright, so I guess we're gonna take the Reality Chip. Or I guess we can just take the Nettle Cyst instead. Oh no, they're gonna tap with Stoneforge. Like I want to take the Kadra. And now fetch for Watergrave. Shock Tsugu. So my opponent has a Lonely Stoneforge. And that's it. They can go Saga into Cyst, which is mildly scary. Not super scary, because I can just steal the token and then save the second Tsugu for the Saga. I get perfect info here, so yeah, there's the Cyst. It's just a 1/1 for now. Oh, it's a 2. Oh, because it counts enchantments. I always forget that this card counts enchantments. Is that a good draw? I think that may have been a good draw. Unclear. Unclear whether that was a good draw. 1/2, 1/2. I think we may be what the kids call ahead. What are you going to do, opponent? Flooded Strand is their draw. We know Hammer, Chip are my opponent's draws here. And Sentinel is the other one. Okay, so I expect nothing here, so I'm just going to pass the turn. Another Charm. Man, this... yeah, we're looking pretty good here. Looking pretty good. I think I send the Fury even. I feel comfortable enough. Actually, there's no need to. I'm just going to chill. Because my opponent's going to make a construct now. They can make another construct next turn if they want. And then maybe, like, if they find the land, they can move the Nettle Cyst over to the Esper Sentinel. And then I need to waste a Charm to steal the Sentinel or something stupid. Like, I'm just so far ahead here. The only way that I can potentially lose this game is if I do something stupid, right? But it makes mana with Saga. That's very interesting. I wonder what that means. Oh, that's what that means. I'm gonna pay for that. Would like to pay for that. Thank you. Yeah, that resolves. Oh man. I love this card so much. Every time I get paired in this matchup, it's just like, oh, that's right, that's why. That's why I like this card so much. So I think I'd rather have the Fury here, because I'm going to have another Tsugu. So Hey, look at the vessel of the all-consuming growing. Red, black, blue. Guess I'll pay for your attacks. This is so much. This is honestly just so much. 3-turn clock, baby. 3-turn clock. Boop. 6, yeah. Now the question is, would I rather counter the chip or draw 2 with charm? And I think it's actually very close. I guess because of the nettle cyst, I'm gonna counter. But there's definitely an argument for just drawing 2. But then they can equip the nettle cyst and then I attack, they don't block. So now I have them in the abyss, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, square 2. Now my opponent's in the abyss. There's nothing they can play that's bigger than the Fury. And this obviously locks it up. But I think it was already locked up. Because there's nothing they can play that's bigger than the Fury. And whatever they played, it just has to chump block the Fury. Boom! Tsugu, baby! Tsugu. See you next round. Alright. Pretty good hand. Let's keep it. So we're going to go turn 1. Playing as Yorion, which can be multiple things. I'm assuming this is going to be 4 color. But yeah, we can go turn 1. Steam Vents. Put them most of 6, by the way. Turn 1 Steam Vents Monkey. Turn 2 Hold Up Counter Spell. And kind of put my opponent on a little bit of a clock. Temple Garden. Aether Vial. You know what eats Aether Vial? Definitely going to attack first to see what my opponent does. But then first... yeah, that's pretty hot. Can I please have that one? Thank you. Oh, monkey. You beautiful idiot. You beautiful idiot. Wait, you don't have another land? You don't have another land and I'm about to Tsugu you? Wow. Life really is not fair, huh? I'm gonna exile my own land, which obviously kind of sucks, but at the same time, my opponent kept a 1-lander, so... Tsugu ya! Is that good? I don't know, maybe that's good. You may have your abundant growth. Hey, so lucky. Opponent hitting their land drop. Go, baby, go. Brought back. Alright. Opponent likes value. I respect that. I respect that. Opponent loves some value. Another Tsugu. Don't mind if I do. Am I dashing here? I guess so, because that makes my second Tsugu not as bad. The question is, am I saving this monkey? And the answer is probably not. Ice Fang. I guess Ice Fang is a 2-for-1, so I'm interested in countering that. Let's see what we get now. So this is just for color with Aether Vials, I guess. Red, green. I guess it... No, yeah, this is blue, and we saw Prismatic Ending already. So yeah, this is... Never mind, it's 5 colors. Alright. Another brought back. Gonna plus on this one. And say go? Wonder if they have an answer to the rain, because I'm ulting this so fast. Oh, they do have the answer to the rain. Unfortunate. If only we had a way to keep the value train going, you know? If only we had a way to keep up with such value. Also, opponent's casually down to 5. Solitude? I guess I cast it? It's an almost lethal threat, right? Yeah, this seems fine. Choose nothing. We got lethal next turn. Gonna save the turn because of push revolt. Opponent backs it. Yeah. This card is just so obscene. Okay, what do we got? We saw a bunch of cards actually. I think I like Ashiok. Don't like Magus though. I think I want 3 copies at most of Tsugu. Dress Down sounds fantastic. I don't think I'm a big fan, even though Monkey was absolutely insane there. I don't think I'm a big fan of the card here. And I think I do like Thoughtseizes and Pute. Spellbomb is also interesting. Spellbomb blanks the brought back plan. Dreadbore is good against my opponents. They're playing Ren, so Bolt seems great. Maybe Spellbomb is just unnecessary. Okay, we're now on the draw. This hand looks pretty strong, so I'm going to keep it as well. Play that, say go. Turn 2 Ren would be very annoying, though. This hand is certainly weak to turn 2 Ren. And it looks like that's what my opponent has. Oh, okay. Well, that's good for me. So we're going to get a Triumph here. Fix our mana. Sure. So we're not going to fetch for basics, because we don't have to. I didn't bring in Magus. I don't think Magus is particularly great against this kind of strategy. Vista. Teferi. I'm going to counter that, obviously. And now the question is, do I want to slam this Tsugu? And I think I do. It blows up the Abundant. I think, because I drew the Thoughtseize, I think that changes the plan. That's probably one of the few cards. Oof. Rushed Rebirth. Target creature. When that creature dies this turn, sigil error for a creature with lesser mana, put them to battlefield tapped. It's kind of cute. Definitely taking the Renaissance here. Play my tapped land and say go. What do you got, OP? Put Yorion in hand. That resolves. So I think I'm going to Tsugu now. Black, red one. That blows up the Abundant Growth, making the Yorion worthless. Also, they don't have black mana for this. They showing me the Wooded Foothills. Weird. Okay. They're going to ending my Tsugu after I get value from it? Deal. You got a deal, opponent. Here's a Jace. Brainstorm. F6 for value. Sounds good. Interesting. Okay, so I think I want to shuffle these away, but I kind of want to hold on to the whole. This card randomly ends up mattering so often. Ren. Sure. At this point, now that I have a Jace in play, I'm not super worried about the Ren anymore. What do they get back? They get back Mesa. They play. Okay. So I'm gonna get Steam Vents, I think. So Fury would be great. Indulgence. We have 1, 2, and 0. So we're not quite there. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. So I guess I'm... no, but the hole actually does kill the Ren. Yeah, so let's put both of these on top. And I'm just going to play out the hole so I can, if I want to, I can kill the Ren in a turn or two. Ren is not really doing anything, though. I'm going to get to Indulgence on my opponent's end step. I guess I get to both Charm and Indulgence. I get to do both. They're drawing a bunch of cards, but their cards don't really do anything. I may just be able to draw 2 of the Indulgence, actually. If I wait. Draw 3. That on top. I guess that on top. Play land. Say go. Well, at this point, I just don't really care about drawing 2 of Indulgence, I don't think. Solitude. So I could have bolted, but then I'm going to have to counter the Rush Rebirth, so it's kind of the same. I guess they don't have black mana. How is that even a thing? That they don't have black mana? They drew ending? Okay, I'm saving the counter because I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I am 2 turns away from just killing the thing with Hull. Well, I guess I have to counter that one. Right, go to end step, fetch for, I guess, Watergrave here. I guess I'd rather just have another Steam Vent, actually. Jace better than Ren, as we can see. We're getting to the point where we have a fair amount of dead draws, though. So that's a little bit awkward. So that on top, and I guess that also on top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So next turn I'm going to be able to whole attack Ren and hold up counterspell mana as well, which is basically the dream. We get kind of got by brought back plus relevant cards. I think my opponent has very many relevant cards left though. Let's see what my opponent's got. Yorion. I'm gonna counter that just because it clocks my Jace. Fetch land. So we're 1 off unfortunately, but this Indulgence will now turn on my other Indulgence if I want to, but if I discard the Jace, which seems okay. Draw 3. It's kind of nice. Oh, we can just Dreadbore this. And we did find the other Indulgence. That's sick. All right. You imagine that's kind of locks it up. Black, red. So that's that. Opponent drew a bunch of cards of the Ren, but like none of the cards really did anything. Like if they play another Ren, I just let it resolve. I don't think I care too much. Draw 2. Got him. Jace just continues doing Jace things. Put that on top, put that on top. I think I'm ready to start closing this game. Cole. Sure. What you gonna do? For Ice Fan. Ephemerate. You got it. Ephemerate resolves. Not that it would have mattered, but it's just funny how that happened. So I guess it's better to push this and play the stab, say go. What a card, this stress down card, huh? What a card. Oh, I can just kill my opponent next turn. Just boulder face twice. About to be far out. Tsugu is real. Tsugu is real. It's the moment of truth. Can we get the trophy? I know I'm keeping this hand. That much I do know. Black Clave Cliffs. Opponent with the turn 1 monkey. Imagine we're playing against some sort of John deck. Just gonna bolt the monkey in combat. Steam Vents. Bolt your dude. Please don't rend me. It's kind of the only card that matters, right? Red and 6 right here. I think anything else I wouldn't care too much about. Like Goif. Yeah, that's a Goif. That doesn't really matter. Not drawing anything does matter, however. But the monkey makes it so my opponent can't really attack unless they have another Goif or something. Abrupt Decay. Okay. Blue Source. That's like the opposite of a blue source. The exact opposite of a blue source is that. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go to game number 2. Like, this is just a little bit too much. Yeah. We were not getting there for sure. Okay. I think I want Dreadbore. Tsugu seems reasonable. I don't think I like Monkey. I do like Spell. Although I guess my opponent's gonna cut their. My opponent's gonna cut their removal, right? So maybe on the play, Monkey is just good. Not super high on Counterspell in this kind of matchup. Armiger's Charm is a 2-for-1, so I'm a little bit more excited about it. Maybe we can cut a push. I don't think Magus is where it's at, but maybe Ashiok is. No, I don't think Ashiok is where it's at. This 60 looks fine to me. Maybe Counterspell is fine on the play as an answer to Ren and 6. But then I don't want it on the draw. Keep. Yeah, we're gonna ship this hand, I think. And this one's fine. Yep. So, bottom Steam Vents. Play this, say go. The idea for playing turn on 1 is so I can fix my mana. Discard spell on 1. Probably getting rid of the 2-for-1. I mean, it's probably the only correct pick here, right? Like, my opponent knows that I have the mana to cast it on curve. So, would love to see a counter spell off the top. Counter spell is probably my best draw. Yep. Honestly, that charm took way longer than I expected it was going to. Alright. Ren would be a beating, if I'm being honest. As he often is. Black-red. Croxa. Okay. Here, have a bolt. Can I please have a Nile Spellbomb? That would be really hot. Or that, I'll take that. And I'm dashing to play around Ren or something. Tarmogoyf. Yeah. Yeah, I'll play that. I'll play a free Goyf. We'll definitely play a 3-4-5. Push my Goyf. Sadness. Absolute sadness. Whew, that's hot. That's real hot right there. That was a good pickup. I think my opponent has Bolt in hand, so I'm just gonna hold Counterspell here. Actually, so they're gonna have access to Croxa? I think I just passed the turn here. Because that means that I guess that they're a little bit short of mana for Croxa, so maybe I should just I'm gonna cast this. Play tapped Steam Vents, force my opponent to use a removal spell on the monkey, which I don't really care about. And then, yeah, because I thought that the removal was Lightning Bolt, so because I forced my opponent to use the Bolt there, now the Jace is free to Brainstorm. Red for a monkey. Yeah, I think I let that resolve, because I can just push that. I can just terminate that. Black-red. Oh, we're slamming this Brainstorm. Definitely want to find a land here. Winner, winner, chicken, right? So that's basically a time walk, because my opponent's not going to be able, unless they're playing Trophy or something, they're not going to be able to do anything with their mana. Now anything that they play that threatens the Jace, we just counter. We're looking super good here. I could let this pulse go because I know that there's a Jace on top of my deck, but like this is, now I get to untap with Jace and Archmage's Charm and Counterspell up. Like it's just, yeah, this is just game now, right? So put that on top. I guess that on top, that on top. Play Spellbomb. And I think I want to crack right now. Draw a card. Get rid of Croxa. Because if they find like a Shockland or like a Blood Creep or a Stomping Ground, then that could be a problem. I guess they drew a fetch, so kind of punished for sacking the Spellbomb there, but it's not really that big of a deal. Monkey resolves. That's getting bolted. I guess I could steal the monkey, which would be even funnier. I'm not going to, because then my opponent can bolt the Jace. But I'm drawing another Jace. Yeah, this is just better. I mean, I think at this point, like I've had Jace going for so many turns that I don't think my opponent can do anything anymore. I wonder what this is. Riveteer's Charm. So I guess I just counter. I didn't know that these sounds are Planeswalkers. That's cool. Wasn't aware about the Planeswalker clause. It's pretty neat. Do I want to swing? I don't think I'm swinging just yet. Maybe I should have actually. Maybe I should have swung right there. See some Pyro. I guess I'm gonna fetch first, then dress down. And now I'm gonna draw 2. Yeah, maybe I should have attacked last turn. I don't know, it's close. It's very nice. So put the Delta on top so I can iteration into the Delta. That's super nice. So that's hand, bottom, exile. Play that. Fetch. I guess I didn't need to fetch. Spellbomb. Push. Yeah, that was pretty bad actually, because now my opponent can attack the Jace. But I guess if they do, we just swing. Yeah, I think that's fine actually. Hey. Did we get there? This is 1, 2, 3. Ooh. This is really sexy. So we're gonna let the Jace die on end step. And that enables the indulgence. Which is pretty cool. Oh no, my Jace died. Not my Jace. Grist. That actually is worth countering. Okay. So do we swing 7? So you are down to 3. What else do you got? I'm 1 mana short of Jace plus. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna Jace anyway. Because I'm 1 mana off of just. Like, I can just Jace plus counter here. Just plus push. The push kills the Ravine. But my opponent can't actually attack the Jace, so they're in the soft lock. I guess it's the hard lock at this point. Croxa resolves. Now you're dead on board, right? Yep. I think that's when they realized that they actually just died to rage because they can't activate Ravine. That was funny. So my opponent showed me that they still have Lightning Bolt. They showed me Riveteer's Charm. Do I want to Magus them? Definitely, they show me Gris, so I'm definitely happy with bringing the extra Dreadboard. Definitely happy with the Furies. Jace also seems good. Dress Down was solid there. They have Young Pyro, Season Pyro. 2 Tsugus, it's fine. I probably don't want more than that. Think on the draw, I don't want the monkeys. So let's bring in another push, another charm. And either Ashiok Thoughtseize or both Magoozy. I guess I could do Ashiok Tsugu. I think I want to do Ashiok Thoughtseize. Maybe another Tsugu is better, but... Alright, for the Fabo. Opponent with the 61 card special over there. You love to see it. Bring in exactly 1 Thoughtseize. See it in your opening hand. You'll love to see it. You love to see it. Can we see on top black on 1? Turn 1 monkey. That's very strong. Black Source. Not quite. So really hoping that this doesn't snowball out of control. Pretty brutal to have access to the removal spell for this, but to not have the mana. Meyer has been exiled. That saddens me deeply. What's my opponent gonna do here? Basic Swamp? Huh. That's very interesting. Tarmogoyf. So I think I'm pushing the Goyf. Well, I'm pushing something. So I guess we push the monkey now. Because now they can just take the Archmage's Charm, right? This Goyf is gonna deal some damage now. But my opponent had the chance to fetch for a duel, and they fetched for a basic, so maybe we can get them on their mana. Take my Ashiok, okay. So that means we're gonna get to kill this, terminate this Goyf. They have another one? They don't. Well, that's interesting. They just left me with the answer to the Goyf in hand. I think I'm taking 5 here. But then I'm dead to bold, yeah, so I think I have to do this, actually. And my opponent could have played a 2-drop last turn, and they have Vial? That explains so much. Alright, I got caught. I wasn't expecting John to be playing Vial, honestly. So they got me by playing not very good cards. I'm gonna slam Jace and minus on the Goyf here, and if they have another Vial, we lose, but it's kind of what we have to do, I think. That's a Tsugu, but that's not gonna be fast enough, unfortunately. So here's the Jace. I'm gonna minus on your dude. Okay, you bought my Jace, that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, if I had if I had pushed the Goyf instead of pushing the monkey, we would be winning very easily. Obviously, that's, you know, after the fact, right? That's after knowing how the game played out. So I think I'm gonna have to... They dash monkey? Oh, that's brutal. Oh my god, that's so bad. That's so bad for me. That puts so much pressure on me. Ugh. This thoughts is looking awful. So, how do I win now? They could have cast this and they cast the Goyf instead. And they could have found the land of the iteration. It would have been in much better shape. Well, I have to draw 2. So, I need to find Fatal Push. Otherwise, the Goyf just kills me. Yep. That sucks. That sucks. So, no 5-0 for us. Trophy. Oh my god, I got owned by this stupid Veil of Summer. Man, they're playing Liliana of the Veil and Veil of Summer in the same deck. That's so tilting. But they got me good. Pretty brutal. Alright, if we learn anything is that these leagues are long. These leagues with this deck are really, really long. So that's something that we learned today. I was not super high on this card. Like, I'm down to try it out maybe like once more, but like iteration was just consistently better. So maybe these should just be iterations. It was really hard to turn this on unless we actively tried. Like, I was assuming that, you know, we have Jaces and, you know, Jaces may get killed, which is the main way that we actually turn this on. And then we also have Furies that we can pitch, and that's a 5, but at the same time, like, we kind of want to hardcast Fury. This is like a very much a hardcast Fury kind of deck as opposed to a pitch Fury. Like, if you have to, you will pitch Fury, but like, you'd much rather just get to the late game and hardcast it, because it just gets so much value by just being there, just loses the game so quickly. So maybe that's why we should just be playing iteration, or maybe it should be like a third copy of iteration, and I don't know, maybe some other card. So maybe this doesn't need to be a 4-off. As far as the sideboard goes, clearly we need something for Junt. No, we don't. Yeah, I mean, we played some pretty cool matches, though. Like, we played some very nice and interactive matches. We did see how much of a buy Hammer is for this deck. Like, it's crazy how good that matchup is. One of the main reasons really for this card to one of the main places where this card really shines. What else can we say about this deck? I'm not a fan of the Magus, but it just, like, for the matchups that we wanted, it's kind of what we want, which is a cheese card. In the past, I was thinking about Colligan's Command. Either Colligan's Command or Prismari Command. In the past, I've had some trouble getting rid, like against Karn the Great Creator decks, maybe. Getting rid of enchantments can be sometimes problematic, so maybe having access to a Gate Command or a Prismari Command, maybe 2, can be interesting, but that's honestly one of the few changes that I would consider. As long as the metagame remains super Murktide and 4-color heavy, I like the 3 copies of Dispute. Fluster is definitely for all the many Cascade decks that we see in Modern right now. Maybe Brutality is just not worth. It's here because of the aggro matchups, right? Like against your burn decks, against stuff like that. But maybe just one of those things where you just accept that those are bad matchups, and you just hope that you have an a turn 1 monkey hand and you just ride that to victory. But just Brutality is such a mediocre card, like today's standards. Like when this card showed up, it was kind of nuts, but nowadays that's just not the case anymore. And back then we had Infect, so Brutality was incredible against both the very popular burn decks, and it was also fantastic against Infect. But now Infect hasn't been a deck in years, and Brutality is kind of specifically for burn, and it's not even that great in that matchup either. So it's kind of awkward in that sense, but deck is strong. I think I really like it. I think that it has a ton of potential, and it's very, very underexplored. But yeah, Sanders Launch helps the mana a lot. We did get punished though in that very last match where my opponent was able to connect with a monkey because I couldn't. This used to be a Bloodstained Mire before, so I think it's worth having the lounge as opposed to the it's such a narrow situation. Like you want to play a removal spell on turn 1 and you're on the draw, and you also like don't find a fetch, because if you have a fetch, you just fetch your whatever your steam bands, it's no big deal. But you need to have exactly the one of Sanders Lounge in your hand, whereas like this has so much value being in your deck because you can fetch it whenever it's convenient, and it just fixes all of your mana issues. So I think that it's worth having over the Bloodstained Mire. The Bloodstained Mire was super awkward because you would fetch it early maybe, or you would draw it, and then your Archmage's Charm were super, super hard to cast. So Sanders Lounge doesn't make that an issue whatsoever. So I think that this card is a pretty significant upgrade all in all, even though we did get punished by it in the very last match. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this league. If you did, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And if you have any interest in discussing stuff like coaching, or if you want me to play any deck of your choosing on a YouTube video or live on stream, you can find all the information you need in the description of the video down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and bye bye.